When you picture a rocket launch, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A giant metal beast blasting straight into the sky, right? But here's the twist. That straight up path is a lie. Rockets only go straight up for a short moment and then they curve. Why? Because going straight up is a terrible way to get to space. Let me explain. We need to clear up a big misconception. People think that the goal of a rocket is to escape gravity by going up. But that's not how space works. The real goal to go fast enough sideways that you keep falling around the Earth without ever hitting it. That's what we call orbit. If you just go straight up, you don't enter orbit. You just go high, then fall right back down. That's what suborbital flights like Blue Origin do. They go up, float for a bit, then come down. But satellites, space stations, missions to other planets, they all start by going sideways fast. Here's a simple way to understand orbit. Imagine you are standing on the top of a mountain and you throw a baseball. It arcs and falls to the ground. Now throw it faster. It flies farther before dropping. Now imagine throwing it so fast that the ground curves away as it falls. That's orbit. You are not floating in space. You are falling constantly. But Earth is curving beneath you just as fast. That sideways speed, it's around 28,000 kilometers per hour for low Earth orbit. So yeah, if your rocket just goes straight up, it's never getting there. So if rockets don't go straight up, what do they actually do? They follow a path called a gravity turn. At launch, rockets go almost straight up, just enough to get out of the dense, lower atmosphere quickly. But very soon, usually within the first minute, they begin to tilt sideways. Gently at first, then more aggressively. Gravity actually helps there. It pulls on the rocket as it starts to tilt, guiding it into a smooth arc. This is not random, it's all calculated. That curve helps the rocket shift from going up to going sideways. That's the secret to getting into the orbit. Here's another reason rockets don't go straight up. Fuel is precious. Rocket launches are all about managing fuel efficiently. Lifting someone into orbit takes a massive amount of energy. If you waste that energy fighting gravity unnecessarily by going straight up and then trying to turn, you burn more fuel, and that adds weight. Every extra drop of fuel adds mass, which requires even more fuel to lift. It's a vicious cycle. So rocket engineers designed the path to use the least amount of fuel possible to reach orbit. The gravity turn helps with that. It lets gravity assist with the steering, reducing the need for complex maneuvering. Straight up flight, that's just wasteful. Another thing you might notice, most rockets launch eastward. Why? Because Earth itself spins eastward. At the equator, that's Earth's widest part. The ground is already moving at around 1600 kilometers per hour. If you launch east, you get to add that speed to your rocket for free. That's a huge bonus, like getting a head start in a race. It means less fuel is needed to reach orbit. This is also why most launch sites are close to equator and near the ocean. More speed, fewer people at risk, and lots of open space for falling rocket parts. Let's imagine you did launch a rocket straight up, with no curve, no tilt. What would happen? First, it will fight gravity the entire time, burning a ton of fuel just to climb. Second, once the engine shut off, it would stop and then fall straight back down. You had ended up with a high altitude firework, not a space mission. It's like jumping really high. Impressive, sure, but you are coming back down. To actually stay in space, you need speed in the right direction, not just altitude. When you watch a rocket launch and see it arcing across the sky, that's not a mistake. It's not veering, of course. It's exactly what it's supposed to do. That curved path is how the rocket builds the sideways speed it needs to reach orbit. The angle, the timing, the trajectory, it's all pre-programmed and tested to perfection. So the next time you see a rocket bend and arc as it climbs, don't be surprised. That's not a flaw, that's physics. Rockets are some of the most precisely engineered machines humans have ever built. Nothing is left to chance. Every move, every angle, every degree of tilt, it's all about one thing. Getting into orbit, using the least amount of fuel, with the highest chance of success. Going straight up sounds simple, but in space, simple doesn't work. Smart does. And that's why rocket curves. If you like this breakdown and want to hear more stuff like this space, science, tech, hit like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. What space myth do you want me to break down next? Thanks for watching.